The President Bolsonaro created his campaign by social media, investing $500,000. They have said that he is racist, but this has been his best friend for over 30 years. They have several times called him homophobic, even though these two close friends of him are both gay. In his campaign, Bolsonaro was cowardly stabbed by a communist. Thank God and to the doctors of Santa Casa and the hospital of Albert Einstein, he survived the attempted murder. He got better and was then elected as president. The people chose him for his honesty, patriarchy, bravery, and sincerity. But the communists in Brazil haven't accepted the results of the election. And with the big communist media controlled by Globo TV that received billions from the past government, they created fake news. Brazil was totally and utterly damaged by the corruption that was made by the past communist government and needed urgent and immediate change. Because of this, Bolsonaro then chose a group of technical ministers and militaries to avoid corruptions in his government. Because the ministries that existed in the past government were distributed for politicians in exchange to support the corrupt. And in the new government, this corruption has disappeared. And this has severely annoyed the communists and the media all around the world. The media then backstabbed our president by blaming him for the natural big fires in the Amazon. These rumors were obviously fake and ridiculous. They were published everywhere by communists, although there are details hidden from the world. The Amazon is, as you may know, a rainforest, which means it doesn't just catch fire. 99% of fires in the Amazon are usually created by farmers and indigenous, who clean their soils to plants for feeding themselves and their family. This has been happening for many decades, but the communists are now using it to blame Bolsonaro for something he cannot control and is not his fault. But this fake news is published in many communist medias within and without Brazil. Only 1% of these attacks are illegal, but they are strictly unapproved by Bolsonaro. But many countries, specifically from Europe, pretend to believe these lies and complete nonsense of all the communist media. This is made to sabotage the Brazilian projects in Europe. Bolsonaro is loved by his people, and even without ever taking an individual right from any of his citizens, he is still called a Nazi, a fascist, and a dictator by all the communist and corrupted media. All this happened because Bolsonaro stopped the corruption that was sustaining the communists and the corrupted media. He also used the money saved from the corruption to finish constructions that were abandoned by old governments. Bolsonaro wants his people to rightfully own guns to protect themselves from intruders or rapists, or to protect his people from any dictatorship that would want to dominate Brazil in the future. In the quarantine of coronavirus that affected all Brazil, Bolsonaro was denied any actions from the Supreme Court. The governors and mayors had then the responsibility to take care of the health of their people. The federal government could then only help out by giving money to the states and cities to help the financial damage that was made around the country. Unfortunately, because of the many wrong decisions of governors, mayors, and corruption made by the communist governments, dozens of thousands of people have lost their lives to COVID-19. And the communists, playing dirty, decided to blame Bolsonaro for all these lost lives. But the Brazilian people love Bolsonaro and know that all this nonsense is fake news. But the communist media still tries to portray Bolsonaro as a killer and a dictator, when actually Bolsonaro is the most honest and democratic president in Brazil history.
Brasil acima de tudo, Deus acima de todos.